everyone, my name is Chloe and today I'm going to show you battery buffers for Gregtech 5 for Minecraft 1.7.10. Now what the battery buffer does, its primary function, is to make sure that it keeps a consistent supply of power to your machines and devices. That doesn't mean that it's surge protection, so you shouldn't use it as like a surge protection or, and other things like that, like a transformer. It doesn't do what a transformer does. But let's get started here. There are 4 different sizes of buffers. They come in 1 slot, 4 slot, 9 slots, and 16 slots. And what that means is inside, if you look here, like this is a 4 slot one, 4 different batteries can go inside this buffer alone. And if we go up here to the 16, it can take 16 batteries in this one. Now they come in different voltages. So starting down here with tier 0, this is the ultra low voltage. And the battery buffer, when you put batteries inside it, will output 8 EUV. And I'll get to that in a second, what EUV is. In fact, let's get to that first. Let's go over here really quick, just so you know. In Gregtech is trying to get away from the dependency of having to have IndustrialCraft 2 installed. And so to do that, they're coming up with their own power system, which is volts and amps. Now to just make sure that you're not confused, volts is the same thing as EU. So I call it EUV just to make it simplified. And IndustrialCraft uses packets. In Gregtech 5, they're called amps. So I call them packet amps. It just makes things a lot simpler, but it's basically the same thing. However, actually, let me go back over here. IndustrialCraft's EU power is not compatible with Gregtech's voltage. There is a way, though, you can convert their power, the EU power, into Gregtech voltage, and I will show you that in another video. And I may touch on it here just a quick second, but for all intents and purposes of this video, it's about the battery buffer. I'm going to show you how to, just basically get these things started using a machine and so forth. So let's go over here and grab a copy of, let's use a macerator here, okay? So we got our macerator, and this macerator takes 32 EU to function. So let's go get ourselves a battery buffer that is low voltage. So low voltage, 32 EU. Do I need 16 batteries? No, I don't. I only need 1. So let's grab a low voltage battery buffer that is only 1 battery. Now, before I connect this all up, I'm going to show you the different batteries that can go in it. This is just the low voltage batteries, okay? And right here in front, we have IndustrialCraft's just plain old generic single-use battery. Now they say that this can go in the low voltage battery. I haven't been able to get it working. So if you know of a way, leave it down in the comments for me, and for everyone else looking, let me know how you can actually use that one, because I have not been successful, unless it's just a glitch in the software that it's not working yet. But the Wiki on Gregtech's Wiki says it should work. Now the next one is the IndustrialCraft rechargeable battery, and that comes where you have the consumed version. Let me grab one of those, and the full version, and then you have Gregtech's small acid battery. You have their mercury battery. These 2 batteries here are single use. You cannot recharge them, so that's kind of a bummer, but in early game they're a godsend. So over here you have next is your rechargeable versions. For here you have your sodium battery, and it's rechargeable. You have the cadmium battery, and then you have the best one is the lithium battery. Let's grab a lithium and one that's not charged here. To use these things, you just click the user interface, and inside you can place your battery. So here is a lithium battery that is not charged. So this thing is not putting out any power. Now to manipulate this, you're going to have a Gregtech wrench. So you're going to want to grab yourself a wrench. Actually, I already have one. And if you notice when I point at any one of the Gregtech modules or machines or whatever, you'll see this quadrant. That allows you to turn it. So if I click over here, the button's over here. On a battery buffer, these buttons are your output on all of them. And you'll notice that there is no button on the other sides of these. Some of the bigger buffers do have, it looks like buttons on there, but they're not. Like this one here, the yellow, that's the output. The rest of these are all inputs. Okay? So using our wrench, we need to point the output into this machine. So if I click here at the upper top, it moves it up. If I click it one more time, it'll be pointed this way. There's another way to do this. If you don't have access to the other side, you can just click on one of the corners and it forces it to the other side this way. Okay, now we're going to need our scanner, a portable Gregtech scanner. All right, here's our portable scanner. Let's scan it real quick. Now in this machine, if I scan it, and you want to press the slash key, or on the Mac it's the question mark slash key. That's the button that allows you to type in game commands. You'll see that the full window is up and it tells us a bunch of information here. We're looking for the line that says energy. Now on this machine it says 0/2048. What that means is this machine has its own internal power storage. Albeit very small, it is enough to do one process. So let's scan really quick the buffer. Now in the buffer where it says energy, it says 0/2048. It also has its own internal storage. And notice I have not added any powered up batteries in there yet, okay? So if I take this out and I go ahead and put in one that's all powered up, watch, it's starting to suck power out. That's because the internal buffer of the machine over here and this buffer are filling. Watch when I scan it again. See here where it says energy? It now says 2048/2048. That means even if I go ahead and get rid of this buffer, this machine still has internal power in it. So if I throw, say, a piece of ore in there, it's going to process it. Let's just go ahead and try that once. Get a piece of ore. And what the heck, we'll get some gold. I'll go ahead and bust this and get rid of it. And I'm going to throw in some ore. It's going to be loud. Oh, told you it was loud. Okay, so now we have this piece of gold ore. It's been processed. Now let's scan this machine again. If we look at the line where it says energy, it took all this energy to process that one piece of ore. And we've actually still got enough in there to go ahead and process another piece of ore. And we don't even have any power hooked up to this thing. It's just because it has power stored in it. This is the very principle of what the battery buffer is for. It just gives you a bigger external storage for the machine. So rather than relying only on that little bit of 2048 internal storage, we can now have a bigger external storage. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in a battery here again. And notice it's decharging some more. Okay, and now my machine is all filled up. This little battery buffer is basically just an extension of this machine now, putting a big old UPS on there, an uninterrupted power supply. Kinda. Anyway, now to keep this thing charged, I've got a reusable battery in there, but say I had one that wasn't reusable, it wouldn't charge. But this one is reusable. So we can actually take another power source. Say we had, I don't know, we'll just use another battery buffer, I guess. Say we had this battery buffer here. And I'm going to put this battery in there, even though it's only 10K. You know. And I get a piece of wire here really quick. Boom. And now if I put this in there, you'll notice that this is actually charging up now. And that's because that battery is rechargeable. So you can take and power this and plug into this from any Gregtech power generating device. Some machines even output power, but you can also use industrial crafts power, but you have to convert it with a transformer. If you'd like to see how that works, go ahead and click on my link down below, and I'll take you to my transformer video where I'll explain how all that works. As far as loss goes and everything else, I'll explain that as well in that video. Now before I let you go, I want to show you a few quick tips here. Not every buffer has a battery available for you yet because Gregtech has not come out with them yet. Every one that's in red, there is no battery available for them. So that would include down here the ultra low voltage, ludicrous voltage, ultimate voltage, and max voltage. Now the one here in yellow, it's kind of interesting. It's a little different than the others. There is a power source available for it, and it's called the ZPM. And that's what its tier is called, the ZPM tier, or 0-point module. If you're a Stargate fan, you'll recognize the ZPM from there. It was a device, an alien technology that could only be discharged. It could never be charged up. In fact, this is where Greg got the idea from. This ZPM device is not craftable. You cannot find it, or you cannot find a crafting recipe because it can't be made, and it cannot be ever charged. It can only be consumed. So where you find these are in dungeon loots and different loots throughout the world. So let's just take a look at the single slot ZPM buffer. Now it's got, I think that's what, 2 billion? Let's stick this in here, and you can see that that buffer just sucked up some power for its internal storage. Okay, if you were to put this in, say, this one, you would need 3 more, okay, to power it for all 4 amps that it can do. Each battery, let's just say you're using this low voltage 4-slot battery buffer. Each battery you put in is 1 amp out. So if you need to supply your circuit or your machine with 2 amps or 3 amps, you're going to need to put in 3 batteries. Even if you have an intense amount of power going into it, and charging the battery, you're going to need 3 or 4 going out to get your full 3 or 4 amps being, broadcast out of it. So here in the ZPM, let's look up here, back here. Okay, I would need 3 more of these to get a 4 amp ZPM output to my circuit. So let's just go ahead and put 4 more in there and take a look. Voila. All right. And you'll notice that they all went down. Well, I guess because I copied them all. But if I were to put 4 brand new ones in there, they would all go down at the same rate because they're all filling the internal storage at the same time. All right. Let's take those out of there. Now, that is the only artifact that can go inside this ZPM buffers. And it doesn't matter what tier it is. Now, the tier 5, it uses a Lapatronic orb, and that's the only artifact that can go in these buffers. The extreme voltage takes a Lapatron crystal, and that's the only thing that can go in this tier. Now, the high voltage is a little different. It does have high voltage batteries. So if I type in battery here, you can see. You can see here, just looking at NEI here, like right here is a large sodium battery. It says it's reusable, and it's got, the voltage is 512. I could go ahead and get one of those, and I could throw this in right here, and it would use it no problem. See that? It started sucking it up. Any of the batteries will work in there. However, there is one artifact that can go in the high voltage, and that is a energy crystal from Industrial Craft. And you can just take one of these and stick it in here, and you can actually put in multiple ones to get your 4 amps out. And those are also rechargeable. You can recharge these crystals and the energy orbs and so forth. It's just the ZPM that's not rechargeable. Like all Gregtech machines and wires, you can use plates and covers on the battery buffer. So on the battery buffer, if I want to protect it from rain, I just grab a Gregtech plate. I think you can use Railcrafts too. And you can put plates on it, just like that. To remove them, you just use the crowbar. You can either use Gregtech's crowbar or Railcraft crowbar. See? And you just pull them right off. Now I have experienced a little bit of a bug with the crowbar and pulling off plates, and it does cause Minecraft to crash, which I've actually made a report to the Gregtech forum about it, but I'm sure he'll get that all ironed out in the future. You can also put on really cool other covers. There's like ones here. It's called an energy detector. Let me just show you how that works really quick. Make sure we don't have anything inside there real quick. Okay, I'm going to put this energy detector on there really quick. And what you can do with this, let me grab a light here. And you're going to need a screwdriver for this one. If I set this to, I think it's normal, normal average electric input, and then normal average electric output. What I want to do is just put this light on there, and it's going to only light up when power is being drawn out by this machine. So let me go in here and put a battery in there real quick. And we're all full. Now with any luck that should come on when I put a piece of ore in there. Actually I can just recrush this again. That's very useful when you're wanting to see activity for what's going on in your machines. Now that cover actually works on many of the other Gregtech stuff, and you just use the screwdriver to configure it. There's multiple settings, so you can experiment and play with that. But I just thought you'd like to see that. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. This is a brand new channel for me, so I really appreciate your support. Look for more videos from the Gregtech lab here. I plan to do my next series on the transformer, and I'm going to talk about wire lossage or wire energy loss through different cables and wires. I'm going to show you how to convert different energy sources and use different mods with Gregtech 5. So if you've enjoyed this video, rate, subscribe, comment, thumbs up. It's all appreciated. I really would like to get a bunch of likes on this, and it really helps me out, guys. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the flip side.